Hi gamers, today we're going to check out the game Roadkill Rally. What can I say? I'm in a racing mood. Let's check it out. Alright, so let's talk about Roadkill Rally here. What you're going to do first is you're going to pick one of these cards from any of these sheets. All the cards are the same, it's just the color of the card that's different. So you're going to pick your favorite color or whatever you want. I'm going to pick yellow because it's just on the top there. And as you can see here, I'm going to have the yellow car. That's what it looks like. All the cars look the same, they're just different colors. So I have the yellow car and I will start in the starting tile. I'll show you that in a minute. First off, looking at the board, it basically gives you everything you need, the game turn, the phase order, and even what you get in coming in first, second, third, how you score pedestrians when you hit them, shoot tokens and wipeout tokens. I'll get to all this later on. They even have a place where you place all your kills up here. Wipeouts, I'll explain that later too, and gear shifting here that's going on, which they give you a little gear shifter token that you'll move up and down. Now every turn you can either move up one or down two. Now before I get too much into this, you're also going to start picking cards. You're going to shuffle the skill card deck and you're going to give each player 2 cards. So I would deal 2 cards to them. Now they're going to pick one of these as their skill. I could go through the whole deck. There's tons of different types of drivers. And whichever skill I wanted in the game, I would put it beside right here, and that is my skill for the entire game. The other card I don't really need. Other things you'll be getting accessory cards, and each player will get up to 8 of these. Now accessory cards are what you can use to trick out your car. So if you look at all these different cars with different colors, wow, let's say I got 8 of these. Here, now I have 8 of them, and I wanted to upgrade my car. Well, at the very beginning, I can upgrade my car, and as you see, each car has red, yellow, and green, and I have red, yellow, and green. So if I wanted a flame cannon, I would put it there. See where it matches up? I can be a psycho killer and a stereo system, okay? That's what you can have. Now, later on in the game, you can go and play these certain cards called pit stops, and pit stops will let you pull over and change out or add on to a weapon. Like what if I didn't have one in yellow slot and then I found this one, armor piercing rounds. Ooh, I want that. Or I wanted to change out the psychopathic driver to a minesweeper. You can do that when you're in the pit stop. And there are several cards that give you the pit stop option. That's all your accessories right there that you can do. I'll explain how some of that works in a minute. But the other thing you're going to get, every player is going to start off with 7 Roadkill Rally cards. And rally cards are basically your life in the game. The more you have, the better you are. Everyone starts off with 7. If you're 5 or under at the beginning of your turn, if you have if you have less than 5 cards, you get to choose 3 more or pick 3 more rally cards off the top. So you'll have as much as 7 or 8, depending on any special accessories that you have in your hand per game. And these rally cards can do several different things here. You can play them like an oil slick and have some cars crash or whatnot. Some just say ammo. I'll get to that. That's for shooting weapons. In fact, all of them have these little ammo tokens by, if you see, and I'll explain why. You can discard these to shoot and fire weapons. So for instance, if I wanted to fire my flame cannon, as you see here, it requires 2 bullets. So let's say I had a deck of, I don't know, 7 cards. Hopefully this is 7. Anyway, I had this many cards. Well, look, I have an ammo box here, and there's tons of these in the game. That's worth 2 bullets. So I discard it, and now I can shoot my flame cannon. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 5 die. That tells me how many number of die. And these are the most awesome die. They're blood splatter die. And so I would roll 5 die. Now this is the range. I have a range of 2, so that car has to be within 2. So whenever I make my move and my car's traveling along, when I stop, that's when I can fire. And so in this case, let's say I fired the flame cannon and I rolled 5 die. Well, I only hit them twice. That sucked, and that's about what a regular roll for me looks like too. As you see, most of the die here are blank. Half of them are blank, but some have the 1 spot on them, and one of them has a 2 spot on them. But I only did 2 damage to him, so what that opponent's going to have to do is discard 2 of their rally cards to get rid of that damage. And you're going to be seeing discarded rally cards all the time as I go on talking about this. But anyway, that's kind of how these work. Bullets work. You can play the card or use them for bullets, which a lot of us do, or you're just going to be discarding them out throughout the game. As the game goes on, let's talk about the tiles that you're going to use. And these are the Roadkill Rally tiles, and there is a huge stack of them. that you can use. You shuffle them up. You always start with the start. And so dealing with the youngest player and going up, they get to determine their pole position. And as you play the game, you're going to, as you keep moving, like if I roll to, as you see here, it determines how fast you are going. So if I'm 100 miles per hour, I move 5 spaces. I can move up to 10 spaces at one time. But every space I move, if I have to reveal another tile, I will. So the board, you never know what's coming up. So as you reveal each tile, as you zoom down it, they can be twists and turns and, oh man, everything. You just get to where it matches up. Now, reading the board is very simple. They make this thing very easy to understand. As you see, some of these have nothing on them. Well, they have these little blood splatters, and that's where you're going to put the pedestrians. But sometimes it even has special rules. And those special rules, you just read them for that tile, and that's what you may have to do when you get to these tiles in the stack. And there's, well, plain tiles here, but there's a special one, there's a special one. But they tell you very clear understanding of the rules and what you're supposed to do. Now, after playing this after a few times, you already know what to do by then. But at first, it may take you a little while to understand what each tile is for. After a while, like I said, you'll be cruising through this, pun intended. Now, if you see here, I have a green splatter, a yellow splatter, and a red splatter. What does that mean? Well, that's where I place my pedestrians, at each splatter point. Now, for green splatters, that's just a regular man. He's worth 20 points if you hit. For yellow splatters, it's a little kid playing with ball. Oh man, that's awful. That's the do not run kid, by the way. You know, or watch for kids crossing. That's awful. But it's also awful that he's worth 30 points. He's worth more than the man. And something worth 50 points, it's the red splatters, is the senior citizen with the walker. Look at that. Ha! You gotta love this game. They're worth 50 points too. And as you see on my dashboard, I have a place to place them every time I kill one. So that's my trophy room, in fact. And so as you're playing this game, you're not only trying to get in first and cause damage to other cars, but you're also trying to run over as many pedestrians as you can. Now, what if let's say I wanted to run over this pedestrian, I got to him. Well, there's something I get to do. I get to only roll 1 die. And I have to have at least 2 splatters to take and run over that pedestrian. If I don't, I just run past him and I missed him. Okay, and I just keep moving. Now, to increase my odds, I can discard a rally card and say, okay, I want to roll with 2 die. Heck, I can discard 2 rally cards and roll with 3 die. And let's see if I get him. Whew, barely. It's almost like a regular roll. That would be a regular roll for me. But anyway, I got 2 splatters right there, so I took him. I'll add him to my kill point, and that's how it moves on. Now, other things you can do, of course, you can shoot other cars. And like I said, I showed you kind of how the guns work. And let's say I roll the 5 die, and that's how many damage I would give to that one person. Now there's a regular roll. Look at that. Good grief. All right, well, this is how I play. I hardly hit anyone. I'm a peace-loving, machine gun carrying car. What can I tell you? So this one, I hit him 3 times if he was in a range of 2. Well, that player would have to give up 2, or actually 3 of this rally cards. Now, what happens if you run out of rally cards for the amount of damage that you do to your vehicle or that someone does to it? Well, in that case, you get what's called a wipeout token. They're minus 20 points. They're not good to have. And as you see here, you can have up to 3 wipeouts in the game. Once you get your 3rd wipeout, you may no longer make pit stops. Now remember, pit stops is where you can go to change your accessories. So that's awful. You don't want that to happen. And plus, negative 60? I mean, even if I got first place, that negative 60 puts me down to 40 points, and that doesn't make first place a nice finish. But anyway, let's talk about the other way you can get damage is by going too fast. Now you see here, the faster I go on this track, the more this red, orange, yellow, well, green never bothers you, but it can bother you. For instance, once I add on to a new tile, if I'm stopping or I stopped on one and I begin my turn on that tile, if I'm on red, orange, green, yellow, as you see, then I have to determine where's my speed at. If my speed's at a 6, a yellow and green don't bother me. If I'm in orange, it does bother me. 4 really bothers me. Why? Because of those numbers, I have to roll that amount of deadly dice. Now again, I can discard any rally cards I want to and roll 1 less die for each rally card I get rid of. But then I just roll for 2, let's say. Let's say I was at a 7, I had to roll those 5, I got rid of 3 rally cards. I only have 2 left, and yay! It came in handy, my blank rolls. I'm okay, but what if it came up to that? well then I only had 2 cards, 3 things, I would wipe out. So the faster you go, the more problems you may have. I'm telling you, you're going to burn through rally cards really fast. Remember, the most you can usually have is 7 at a time. And I'm telling you, you can run through them. Plus, you're tempted to play some of these, like a grenade. Come on. I don't want to discard that one. So you also get to where you don't want to discard certain cards in the deck because it may help you. Ammo may help you. One quick thing as it goes with car movement, you can never move sideways or backwards on the track. You can't move backwards or sideways. You can only move forward. And if you cannot move forward, let's say I was going 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that means it's a collision. And on collision, what you do is you're basically going to see how fast were you going and how fast is your opponent going. And then you're going to do the difference by this. Like let's say I was going a 4 and my opponent was going a 5. Well, that's a 1 die difference on us. So we're going to each roll 1 die, and if we got any damage, like, oop, I suffered a damage. What about him? Did he suffer 1? Yes, he did too. Now, what if we were both going the same speed? If we're both going the same speed, then both of us get automatically 1 damage. But what if I was going 3 and he was going 7? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 die we'd have to roll. So the faster you're going, the faster that the 2 cars are going, the more damage you can cause. So it can be really, really bad, those collisions can. How you score all your points here, again, you're going to see what you place, first, second, or third. 4th place gets nothing. How many kills you got, how many shoot tokens. Oh, that's right, if you shoot someone, if you successfully make contact and damage someone, you have to damage their vehicle. Sometimes people have armor or whatnot and they get away and you don't damage them at all. But if you damage someone, you get a hit token, and that's worth 10 plus points. So it helps to keep attacking your opponents, and you can start racking up those 10-point hit points. So you add up all your hit points, add up all your pedestrians, subtract any wipeout tokens you have, and the person with the biggest score at the end wins the Roadkill Rally. All right, so final thoughts about the game. What did I feel about this game? I love this game. It is extremely funny. Running over pedestrians, shooting one another. The cards are really crazy and silly. It's a silly game. Don't take it too seriously. Yes, we're running over children and people and grandmas, but still it is extremely fun. We have a lot of fun playing this game. Anything I don't like about it, it can be a little fiddly at times, meaning there's a lot of little special rules. You don't get to play as many rally cards as you want to. Usually you're just burning through those rally cards. I wish you didn't have to burn through them so much, but at the same time, that is the game, right? But the thing I love about Roadkill Rally the most is it's perfectly balanced, meaning you don't want to be first place and blowing everyone away. The first time I played it, I was blowing my competition away, and I lost. You know why? Because I wasn't shooting people like the other guys were, and they were running over pedestrians. I was too, but they got to run over pedestrians. They got to shoot people, which I didn't. So even though I got first place, you know, some guy got, 5, 6, 7 hit tokens on him. He has 70 points to my 100, and then he ran over a few more pedestrians than I did, and he can win. This is a game where you can come in first and still lose the game. I love that. Where do you want to be? You want to be in the middle of the pack. Maybe at the end, too, because you can shoot everyone who's in front of you. I don't know. The possibilities are endless, and I love that. That means no matter what place you are, first place or last place, everyone has a chance to win. Sure, first place can get those big points and move on and hopefully not get damaged by the people behind him. But the middle people keep shooting each other and they're getting points that way. Everyone gets a chance to run over pedestrians because the first car going through the line, they're not going to be able to run over every pedestrian, and you're going to miss a lot of pedestrians as you drive. You don't get to re-roll unless you have special cards that let you. So I love the dynamics of the game. It's one of those games that's oddly balanced. I'm surprised to see this from Z-Man Games. It was an older game. You can find this pretty cheap. In fact, at Gen Con, I saw people selling new boxes for like 15 bucks. That's cheaper than what I paid, and I got one used. So I guess they're just kind of burning out their inventory, their stock on these. No one really cares about the game. I really care about the game. I really love this game. I think it's great. So should you get it? Yeah, if you think it's for you, you've seen the basic rules. Like I said at first, it takes a little while to get used to all the cards and what they mean and what to do. But after you've played it a couple times, oh man, you start loving this game. All right, gamers. That's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.